Hey guys, welcome to another video. So back in 2019 I was incredibly lucky to get 6 months off work and go and do the PCT, or most of the PCT in America. After that I thought I'd never get a chance to do another long distance trail again. I've been lucky again. I've managed to cajole and coerce 6 weeks off work all in one go. I work funny shifts, so I've managed to kind of bunch a few weeks together and swap a few weeks with other co-workers. So 6 weeks off, and I'm going to go and attempt the GR11, which is about 850 kilometers across the Spanish side of the Pyrenees mountain range. So the Pyrenees form the border between France and Spain. There are 3 main trails that run the length of the Pyrenees. The GR10 runs along the French side, which I did a section of that last year and thoroughly enjoyed it. The HRP, or the Pyrenean High Route, Haute Route, that runs, as you would expect, along the high mountains. And it kind of straddles, it crosses into France, then it'll come back into Spain, and it kind of straddles both countries. And then the GR11, as I say, that runs on the Spanish side of the mountains, and I'm going to be starting in the west and heading east, which is the way the guidebook describes it, and I think the way most people tend to do it. I might be wrong, I don't know, but that's the way the book says to do it, so I'm going to do it. And this is the large majority of what I'm going to be taking with me. There are a few things that I'm still a little bit undecided on. I've included them in here, but they might not make it into the bag at the end of the week when I go. I do only have about 7 days left until I go now. And there are a couple of things that are still being sorted out or have not quite yet been purchased. that are waiting to make it into the bag. So yeah, 1 or 2 things might fall out, 1 or 2 things might jump in, but this is pretty much what will be going with me. Instead of going through everything as it is here with you, which you'll get pretty bored of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into sections like clothing, sleeping system, electrics, and that kind of thing, so you can jump and skip to whichever section or chapter you're most interested in. See what I'll be taking with me. So that's going to require a little bit of jigging. I'm going to have a drink and crack on with that. And while I remember, I'm not going to be uploading anything to YouTube, I don't think, whilst I'm actually on this 6-week hike. If you want to follow along and see how I'm getting on and see what the scenery's like and things like that, you can follow me on Instagram. I will be posting on there while I'm away, posting on there from the trail. So my Instagram name, I'll pop it up on the screen. It's exactly the same as my YouTube name, Paul in a Pack. So yep, you can follow me on there and keep up with how well or how badly I'm getting on. All right, cheers. So let's start off with something easy, nice and simple. Let's start off with what tent am I going to be using this time, the shelter system. If you've watched any of my previous videos on camping and any trips that I've done, you'll know that I use the Durston X-Mid 1 and take whichever inner I fancy, like the solid one or the mesh one. This time I wanted to cut down on some weight and I wanted a bit more space as well, so I've actually bought myself a new tent. I have used it once already on a 2-night camp in the Peak District. If you've watched that video, you'll know that it is an X-Mid Pro 2. It's in a different bag. This is a Ultra 100 dry bag. It will pack down a bit smaller, a bit shorter than this as well, but basically I've started carrying my tent on the outside of my bag. I either have it in one of the side pockets or I'll have it strapped to the bottom of the backpack. I've converted, basically. I don't like having a wet tent inside the bag anymore, and I also like the ease of having your tent on the outside of your bag. You can get to it easily when you get to camp and get your tent up. It's just more convenient. So yeah, that's the X-Mid Pro 2. Again, it's a DCF lightweight tent, plenty of space in it, massive porches, has got a big footprint, but I'm not too fussed about that. I'm in the Pyrenees, I'm pretty sure there's going to be plenty of space there. So that's the tent. Inside the tent I will be keeping a small Sea to Summit dry light towel. Because it's a single skin tent, it's going to suffer from condensation a bit more than a two skin tent does. So that is just going to stay in the tent with me just to wipe off any condensation that does accumulate inside. My walking poles will be holding my tent up. It's a trekking pole tent, so I've got my trusty Lecky Micro Vario trekking poles. The good thing is with these is they split down to 3, so you can fit them inside your bag. I have heard horror stories of people going to the airport with trekking poles on the outside of the bag because they only split down in half, and they've been confiscated because they look like weapons. I'm not going on the plane this time, I'm going on the Eurostar because it just feels like a bit more of an adventure to me. So yeah, I'm going to get Eurostar to Paris and then get the train down to the south of France and cross over into Spain. But yeah, Lecky Micro Varios. And then that's my stake bag, little DCF stake bag. And I've found with experience with the X-Mids that the 4 corner stakes, whether you've got the 1 person or the 2 person, take a heck of a lot of strain, just the way the tent's designed. So I've actually bought these kind of like nail stakes. They're a bit longer than normal. They're good and sturdy, and I use these on the 4 corner points of the tent. And then the rest of the points, I either use an MSR groundhog, or I've got a few mini groundhogs in here as well, just to stake out the guy lines. Guy lines I've attached to the tent, and then I've actually got 2 spare ones that I can attach to the side panels if needs be. I don't leave them on there, but if I need to attach them on, I can do, and I carry them in here as well. I also have a bit of DCF repair tape in there, so I can plug any holes that may appear. Hopefully they won't appear in the tent, hopefully I won't puncture the DCF, but if I do, I've got some DCF repair tape in there and I can just pop that on and problem solved. So that's the shelter system. We shall move on to another chapter now and see what else is in store. Sorry, quick drink. Let's move on to the sleeping system now. I've replaced my Neo Air X Lite, which has got pretty mouldy now, unfortunately. I've replaced it with a Neo Air X Lite, but I've replaced it with the NXT version, the newer upgraded version. I've also downsized, so I was on a large one before, which was longer and wider than the regular ones. This time I've just gone for the regular wide. I'm 6 foot, and experimenting, I don't need the large. I can make do with the regular size, but the width, I do like the wider pads. I find them much more comfortable to sleep on. So yeah, that is that. My sleeping bag, I've only got the 1 sleeping bag. I don't really want to spend a lot of money on 2 sleeping bags. For the amount of camping I do, there's no point in me getting a lightweight one for summer use and a heavier weight one for winter use. It's just pointless. So I've just got the 1 sleeping bag. It's a Feathered Friends Hummingbird UL20. It's a 2019 model. That's when I bought it. I bought it for the PCT. It's been on every trip I've done. It's a fantastic sleeping bag. It's rated down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, as you would expect with a UL20. If it gets warm, I just unzip it all down one side and use it like a duvet. I have just washed it as well, myself at home, which is something you need to be very careful when you're doing. But I have done that, and yeah, that's served me well so far, and I assume it's going to, well, I hope it's going to continue to serve me well. That's a sleeping bag. It weighs roughly speaking 750 grams, and for a 20 degree Fahrenheit bag, that is a pretty decent weight to get. Alongside that, I use a silk liner. Basically, if you've got a down bag and you're using it quite regularly, if you're not using a liner inside it, any dirt or suntan lotion, oils, sweat from your skin, it does get transferred to the bag, and it reduces the effectiveness of the down. So basically, the dirtier your bag gets, the colder it's going to be when you're sleeping in it, basically. So either use a liner all the time with your down bag, or be sure to wash it regularly. Like I say, I've taken the silk liner with me, and that sometimes you can just sleep in that if it's a really warm night. Just get in the silk liner and maybe just have the bag over your feet or something like that. But yeah, silk liner, that's that. Pillow, I've just bought a Cedar Summit Eros Premium Regular. I was using the large Cedar Summit pillow before, and it was just the standard Eros. It still works, it's still fine. I think it's maybe losing a little bit of air. I've had it for quite a while. But this one is so comfortable. It's got like a padded side to it on this side where you put your head, and it is very, very comfortable. So I'm actually looking forward to using that. With it being a smaller size, I found it fit. It's going to sound daft, but it fit my head better. It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, the smaller size pillow, I found it could really sort of like tuck in into my shoulder and under my head. I'm a side sleeper mainly, so that's my pillow. Possibly not for, well, I can sleep in them if I want to, obviously, but they're going to be mainly around camp. These are some Farpoint outdoor gear alpha camp pants, and I can't say enough good things about these, any of the Farpoint gear that I've got. I've got quite a bit here. They're extremely lightweight. They pack down. I mean, they look quite puffy as they are, but you can really, I mean, that packs down and pushes down inside my two hands there like that, if you want to compress it down. They're really, really breathable. These are, I think, 60 GSM, 60 grams per square metre, I think. But they're just simple things, and the warmth they provide is just brilliant. They're really effective. So they're just going to be used, obviously I'm not going to walk in them. The material is quite prone to snagging. And I certainly wouldn't walk in any of this gear apart from the hoodie. And again, I wouldn't walk in that if I was going through like a forest where there's a chance of it getting snagged. So yeah, the Alpha Camp pants, brilliant. They're my version of merino leggings that a lot of people use to sleep in or around camp. Lighter. I like to sleep with a beanie on sometimes, if my little head gets curled. And again, this is a Farpoint outdoor gear, the same material. This is a drifter cap, insanely light, and I mean that fits inside. You hardly know I've got it inside my fist. It's crazy. Excuse me. So yeah, that's the beanie. I do have one thing that gets really curled with if I'm going to feel the cold, the first two things to go on me are my fingers and my toes. So again, Farpoint outdoor gear again, a pair of drifter gloves. They're fingerless gloves, same material, same thing, very lightweight. That's those. And then again, Farpoint outdoor gear, camp socks, alpha camp socks. They come in 3 sizes, I believe, or maybe 2, I can't remember. I went for the largest ones, and they will be for sleeping in and for around camp. Brilliant, really, really warm. I usually sleep in a Rab long sleeve top. I think that one's like a merino blend. Sometimes not if it's really warm, but that's generally what I use. All right, let's get this clothing done and then I can get it all away. It's beautiful and blue sky now, but there is a thunderstorm forecast today, so I think it's supposed to be arriving in about an hour's time, so best crack on with it. Yeah, clothing. Let's start from the bottom and work up, shall we? I have been threatening to do a video on these for a couple of weeks now, and I've still not got round to it. If you've watched any of my footwear videos, they've all been mostly about Ultra footwear, Ultra zero drop shoes that are very popular because they've got a wide toe box, which makes a big difference, and they've got some of them have got Vibram grips. I've been struggling with the zero drop on the Ultras, and I've been looking for an alternative, and in one of my videos I did, somebody was very kind enough to say, why don't you try the Topo Athletic range, which I hadn't heard of them before. They're very hard to find, or they're quite hard to find in the UK. I had to import these from the USA. But these are the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 3. And I've not used them a great deal so far, but I've used them enough to know that I really like them. They are very similar to the Ultra Olympus 5s, I'd say. They've got a very wide toe box, on a par with the Ultra, if not better than the Ultra Olympus 5. I use a size UK 11, and the Olympus 5s in a UK 11 just feel a little bit tight. Not uncomfortable, but just a little bit. These are a UK 11 and they just feel perfect. The big difference for me is the Vibram grips, whereas the Olympus 5s just have some Vibram inserts and the rest of it is kind of foamy. This is almost, there's a tiny little bit of foam, but this is a full Vibram Mega Grip outsole, and there's some serious traction on there as well. Those lugs are large and they are pointy. So I am really, really hoping that these see me through the 850 kilometres of the trail. So that is the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 3. If I don't do another video on these, I will do at some point, but please, if you're going to look for these in Europe especially, be very, very careful of scam websites. I came across two when I was looking to purchase a pair of these. I found two websites that were offering these for kind of like 80 quid, which is half of what they are in the States. They are scam websites. Please, if you're going to get a pair, go onto the Topo Athletic proper official website, topoathletic.com, I think it is. I'll put it up on the screen, whatever it is. And if you're in any doubt about a website you come across, email Topo Athletic themselves. They got back to me within a couple of hours, said yes, the site you've been looking at is a scam site, we're aware of it and we're trying to get it taken down. So if the price looks too good to be true, it probably is. So be very careful. Socks wise, excuse me, I've got two pairs of Injinji crew liners and then two pairs of Darn Tough light hikers. That's all I'll be using. I'll just be swapping them out and washing a pair. I do have a very, very thin, lightweight pair of merino socks that I'm going to be using to travel in. I'm travelling for 2 days there and back, so I'm going to use those for travel. But they're my hiking socks. Underwear, again, these are imported from the States, and I've been looking for ages for a really decent pair of, or a comfortable pair of merino underwear. And yes, style is not my thing, but these are Ridge merino boxers. I just find them really comfortable. The material's really nice and they perform really well. I was using some Smart Wool ones and I really wasn't impressed by how they wore. And I don't mean like what they were like when they were on me, but basically they went into holes like after a couple of months, and you don't expect that when you're paying 30 quid for a pair of underwear. So yeah, I wasn't too impressed with them, but these have worn really well. I've had them for a while now. I know they're good. So yeah, Ridge merino boxers, very impressed with them. Shorts wise, I've got a pair of Patagonia Trailfarer, I think they are, shorts. I'll be travelling in those after I've washed them from my last trip. Yeah, I'll be travelling in those, and I've got a pair of Patagonia. I do prefer these. They're just a little bit shorter and quite comfy. These are the what are they? Strider Pros, and I've cut the liner out. They do come with a mesh liner, but I've cut it out. The Trailfarers don't have a liner in them. That's one good thing about them, actually. I prefer linerless shorts. I do have a pair of lightweight waterproof trousers, which I always debate whether to take them or not, because I very rarely wear waterproof trousers. It's got to be really chucking it down for me to put waterproof trousers on. But for the amount they weigh and the amount of space they take up, I think I'll be taking them. They're Pertex Shield. They're made by Montan or Montaigne, however you want to pronounce it. I've had them for years and they do a good job. So that's them. Just coming around here, excuse me. Camp shoes are something I've always overlooked in the past and not bothered with. And this, well, I've used them a few times now, but these are OOFOS recovery slides. And let me tell you something, they are seriously comfortable. I was going to take a pair of Crocs with me, and then I came across these, and they weigh slightly less than a pair of Crocs, and they are supremely comfortable. So yeah, these... still about 75% certain I'm taking them, but might not make the cut. But yeah, worth looking at and worth investing. I think camp shoes, like I say, are quite overlooked. And if you've been hiking all day, it's nice to be able to take your hiking shoes off, let them air, and let your feet air, and put something on that's just really comfy to wear around camp. So that's them. That was the gloves that I had earlier. The outdoor gloves. I've been using a windbreaker, like a lightweight windbreaker smock, for a while now, and it was a Paramo one. And I actually thought it was quite light. I weighed it, it was about 300 grams. And I started looking online, and this is a Patagonia Houdini windbreaker jacket. And it weighs about 100 grams. So the one I had wasn't lightweight, and this is tiny pack size as well. The other one I had, the Paramo one, did not pack down very small at all. So this is a new investment. I've worn it twice already, I believe, and yeah, it's good. I like it. It was worth the silly amount of money that I paid for it. And I think if you're going somewhere that's exposed in the mountains, where you've got a chance of strong winds, something like this can be really, really useful. So yeah, that is the Patagonia Houdini windbreaker jacket. Just spotted that while I'm sat here. This is just my buff. I've worn this on nearly every trip since 2019. It's just habit now that I take it with me. It's like a lucky penny, I guess. I just find the buffs that they're so useful for a lot of different things, and especially if you're going somewhere warm or hot. I did this a lot on the GR10 last year. I would get to a stream and just dunk this in the stream, and then either just flop it on the top of my head, or what I found was a good thing was I'd get it wringing wet with water, cold water from the stream, and just literally just put it around my neck like that, and for the next 10 minutes or so you just had cold water dripping down, and it was beautiful. It was so refreshing. So yeah, that's one good thing. And then the other thing is, when you wear it around your neck normally, it stops a bit of sweat, and it stops your neck getting burnt as well. So it's got a lot of different uses, and a lot more as well on top of that I've never used it for. So yeah, buff. I do like them, and I'll keep using it. Hat wise, I'm taking two because I'm greedy. This one we'll start with. This is a Sunday afternoons Vaporlight Stride, I think it's called. I do have a black one already, but it's getting quite grubby now. And the thing I like about this one is it's extremely lightweight, so you kind of don't even realise you've got it on. The material's really nice and light. And the other good thing is, at the front here, it's got sunglasses keepers in there. So there's two little holes either side, and as long as you've got a pair of sunglasses that aren't too curved at the ends, I use a pair with straight arms, they just slide straight in there and lock in, and when you're not using them, you can just put them on your cap there, and you know for certain they aren't going to pop off anywhere. So that's a really cool hat. I like it. The sweatband at the front as well I have problems with a lot of them that I use. I do wear a lot of caps, and they can get quite itchy for me, I find. This one, the Vaporlight Stride, doesn't do that for me. So it's a really comfy hat. I do enjoy wearing them. And then this one, on the GR10 last year, I had a couple of instances where I was on some very exposed slopes on the mountains when it was just scorching hot, and I think I could have really done with a wide brimmed hat, because I was starting to get, I think, a bit of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. So I'm taking this wide brimmed hat with me this time. It's a Patagonia Baggies Brimmer. Yeah, I'm going to look silly wearing it, but if it's going to stop me passing out in the heat, then yeah, I'll take it. Just a note as well, Patagonia, if you're watching, which you won't be, can you please start selling these in Europe? Because I had to get this from America. Why don't you sell these in Europe? It's completely unfair. But yeah, that's that. Puffy jacket. Again, I've just got the one puffy jacket. It's an Arc'teryx Cerium LT. I've had it for a long time now, and it's still fantastic. I've just washed it, so it's all nice and puffy again. Packs down pretty small, and for its warmth to weight ratio, it is very good. It's always served me well as that jacket. Last year on the GR10, I took my Arc'teryx Beta LT waterproof jacket, and I didn't take it out of my bag once. So I was carrying around like almost half a kilo of waterproof jacket that never ever got used. This year I've bought a new jacket, and it's a Mountain Equipment Firefly. Now, I think a lot of people overlook Mountain Equipment. A lot of their stuff is quite heavy, I'll be honest with you. This is about 200 grams. That's the rough weight. And the good thing about it, well, one of the good things about it is it's Gore-Tex. If you can find another Gore-Tex jacket, and this is a large size as well, so mediums and smalls are going to be lighter. It's only got the one pocket. It's got a chest pocket in it. There's no hand pockets. It's got a hood with a little stiffened peak. It's got a draw cord at the back of the hood. It's got a hanging loop on the inside and the outside. And it's got the cords on the hem. So that packs down pretty small. It's extremely lightweight for a waterproof jacket, for a Gore-Tex waterproof jacket, and that was another good investment. It doesn't take up a great deal of space. This is the last piece of the Farpoint outdoor gear stuff that I've got. This is the Alpha hoodie. I use this on the West Highland Way nearly all the time. It's really breathable, it's really lightweight. You can see how it's flying around in the wind. It's really lightweight. This is the lightest weight one to do, the 60 grams per square metre one. It's a very simple piece of equipment, just a hoodie you pull on. But that is just going to be taking the chill off on a morning and an evening, and you can walk in it as well. The only downside, like I said before, the material gets snagged easily, so you've got to watch it on your rucksack, on your backpack clips and buckles and whatnot, and anything sharp and pointy. But yeah, again, packs down really small, very lightweight as well. Excellent piece of kit. Pair of sunglasses. I get headaches really easily in the sun, so I nearly always hike in sunglasses. Pair there. And shirts, tops to hike in. I generally switch. I go in sort of like different crazes. At the moment, I prefer to hike in a light button-up shirt, short sleeve. These, I don't think you can buy these anymore, this exact version. This is the Columbia, what was it called? Cool Light or something? I can't remember the name of it, I'm sorry. Oh, everything's blowing everywhere. No. But they're both the same model, just different colours. Columbia lightweight hiking shirt. They're vented. They've got mesh in there. They've got vents on the back. As I say, you can't buy this exact model anymore, so I do have two of them that I use, and they're both going to be coming with me. There's that one, and then there's a green one as well. I think that is it for clothing. So skip on to the next section. Oh, I haven't talked so much in ages. Right, this is the meat on the bone. We'll do electrics now. Where to start? Because I'm taking a drone with me. I don't know anything about wind speed, and I don't want to put my drone up in the air if it's going to get wiped out. So I've got a little wind meter there. Also does temperature, which will be quite interesting to see. That is, it's small, it doesn't weigh a great deal. I'm happy to take that with me, just so I know that when I put my drone up it's going to be safe and it's not going to get buffeted around and blown out the sky. So yeah, it's a wind meter, that's all that is. It can also tell me how much my tent's getting battered, which is something that will be interesting to see. So yeah, we mentioned the drone. That's actually in there. It's a DJI Mini 3 Pro. What I've done is I've been looking for a way to carry it. Before I was carrying it in almost like a hard suitcase, and I wanted something that was a little bit easier and lighter weight, basically. So all I've got in here, it's a DCF dry bag that just rolls shut and clips with some hook and loop. And excuse me, inside there I've just got like a piece of plasticky foam that I've looped around the drone, and it's sat in the middle of it. So that's actually quite a good solution, I think. So that can stay on the outside of my bag. DCF, obviously, it's completely waterproof, so nice job there. That's the drone controller. I've got the RC one with the screen on it, and this thing that's on the top of it is a sunshade, and it doubles to protect the sticks and the screen. So that weighs a ton as well. As soon as you start carrying like photography gear and filming gear, that's when you start adding your weight on. I've got 2 spare batteries for the drone. They feel like they're different weights, but they're not. There's a battery already in there, so I've got 3 batteries for the drone. I am hoping to get some good footage. Obviously it's a beautiful area, beautiful place I'm going to, and I might not get the chance to go back, so while I'm there, for the sake of carrying another 500 grams or so, I'm happy to carry that to get some good footage, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Batteries wise, these are 2 Nightcore NB 10,000 battery packs. They're pretty much the standard for backpackers, ultralight backpackers. I don't call myself an ultralight backpacker, not with all this crap. But yeah, these will be going with me, and I think I might even add another 10,000. I've got an Anker 10,000 power bank inside that I think I might take. I don't want to take all this gear with me and then find that I'm running out of juice. So that's those. This thing, you may be wondering what this is. What's the black thing he's got? This is a solar panel, which obviously I'm going to be staying in a hotel, hopefully, kind of on average, maybe once a week. That's kind of my plan, just to clean myself up, get stuff washed, and give everything a good charging up. But this is going to be with me on the trail. Now, I've been looking everywhere for a decent, good quality, reliable solar panel that's also lightweight. And I came across a company called mobilesolarchargers.co.uk. Obviously a British company in the UK here. I think they're down in Norwich possibly, I believe. But they don't do a lot of advertising. They rely on word of mouth, and the service is second to none. I know nothing about solar chargers. Very, very little. I just knew that it was probably going to be a good idea to have one. I can hang it from my backpack when I'm walking during the day. There's holes in it and you get some carabiners to hang there, and I can plug in, there's a little 2 USB ports on the back there. You can plug in one of your power banks. That'll sit in the pocket on the top of my backpack, and that'll charge while I'm walking. So that's a good system to use. But I'll put the specs up for this somewhere. You can obviously see the size of it. It's a decent size, but obviously when you've got it on the back of your backpack, it's going to hang down perfectly. It only weighs about 350 grams, which for a 20 watt solar panel, and now I've tested this in the garden and at home. Now I know that putting it out in the sun like this is going to be completely different to having it hung on your backpack, but it was pretty blooming good. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how I get on with that. Very interested. But yeah, mobilesolarchargers.co.uk, they've got a really good selection and they are extremely knowledgeable. I actually spent about half an hour on the phone with Tim, I believe it was, and he really knew his stuff. He was giving me advice on everything, so very happy with that purchase. That little thing there is a charger. The Mini 3 Pro drone, you can either keep a battery in the drone and charge it up that way, but if you want to be able to use your drone whilst you're charging another battery, you need a standalone charger, and that's what this is, this little thing. So your battery just clips in there and you plug into the side there, and you can charge that battery while using your drone with another battery. So that's that. That's a nice little thing. It hardly weighs anything, it's pretty small. Quite pleased with that. This, I wasn't going to take this, but for the space and weight it takes, it's going to be a no-brainer. Excuse me, that's my cheat sheet flying around, which I've not used actually. It's the little pocket tripod that came with the DJI Pocket 2, and that is just a tiny little ball joint on top, so it's a nice little thing, it's handy. The DJI Pocket 2 isn't here. I am taking it with me, but I'm actually filming on it at the moment, along with my phone. So they will both be going with me, but obviously can't show them to you. That is a clip for my phone. I'm not 100% I'm going to take it, but obviously it attaches onto a tripod mount, and you can do either vertical or horizontal shooting with it. Obviously hiking on your own, you need a way to take pictures of yourself, so something like that is good. Headphones, I'm travelling for 2 days. I've got myself a little pair of Anker wireless headphones. I'll go insane without music for 6 hours on a train, so yep, there we go. Charging stuff up whilst you're sat in a restaurant or when you're at a hotel, something like that, is good if you can do it. I have got here an Anker GaN Prime charger. So GaN is gallium nitride, I believe, and these are the sort of new chargers that are more efficient and faster. So I bought one from Amazon France with the European plug on it, so I don't have to buy an English one and then put an adapter plug on it, if you follow me. I've just got one that's got a European plug built into it, and you just plug it straight in. This has got one USB-A port on it and 2 USB-C ports, so I can charge multiple things up at once, pretty fast as well. The only downside is they are pretty heavy, but it's a trade-off, isn't it? Efficiency for weight. Charging cords, I believe I've got 2 USB-C to USB-Cs and 1 USB-A to USB-C. I've started carrying 2 because on the PCT, the one I only had one with me and it broke and I couldn't charge my phone up for about a week. It was extremely frustrating until I got to a shop that sold them. So I found that it's for the space and the weight they take up, if you've got a lot of electric gear, it's probably worth taking 2 of something like that, just in case one fails, or even if you lose one. So yeah, power cords. That little box there is just a box of filters for my drone. They did come in like a big heavy box like this, great big thing, and I've sized it down into this little plastic thing with some foam in it. It's a nice way of carrying them. And I've got the same for the Pocket 2 as well, just a smaller box. That is the Flex Tail Gear tiny pump, 2.0 I believe, or X2. That's for inflating the sleeping pad, and it doubles as a torch as well, a night light. This is a Nightcore headlamp. Whether I'll take this or not, I don't know, because as I say, the flex tail gear does have a torch on it, a lantern, so I might use that instead. But at the moment that's going, it doesn't weigh a great deal. This is a Panasonic Lumix TZ100 camera. It does 4K 1080p, and obviously it's a stills camera as well. The good thing with this is it's got a whacking great zoom on it, which is something I've missed on previous trips, just travelling with a phone. So at the moment this is going with me. It might be that I decide against it in the end, I don't know. But if it does go with me, it's probably just going to sit in a pocket. I'll attach a pocket to my hip belt and it'll sit in there. So this is the Insta360 selfie stick and tripod combined. I've also got a small rig ball head on there, a little metal ball head, which really does give it some extra functionality. But it extends to, I believe, over 1 metre. And it also doubles as a little tripod stand. It's pretty sturdy when it's short like that, not so sturdy when it's all the way out, but it does exactly the job I need, and it's small and pretty lightweight, so I do like that one. I've gone through a lot of different selfie sticks and little mini tripods like that, and this is by far the best that I've used so far. That I think is pretty much it for electrics. Batteries and everything like that, so it's just going to be the miscellaneous stuff now, all the odds and sods that are left at the end. Just bits and bobs left then. Miscellaneous, if you want to call it miscellaneous. This is the backpack I'll be using. This is the SWD, or Superior Wilderness Designs ultralight long haul 50. I've also on there got a little ultra pouch just clipped on the outside, and I'll probably be using that for my water filter and my where are we, Sawyer water filter, and wherever it's hiding, my Nock Vector bag. So if you're not familiar with these, they're very handy and very simple to use. I mean, the good thing is they're rolled down, they're very small like that. But this is is it 2 litre? Yeah, 2 litre one. And you slide the top off, open it up, scoop your water like that, close it up again, slide the top back on, and then you screw your filter onto the bottom there and push the water through, and it filters it. So it's a lot easier than the bags that you get with the Sawyer filter, especially to fill up. The fact that it's got such a wide mouth, you can just scoop it like that, and yep, much better to use. Spanish phrase book. If you do follow me and if you do watch videos when I get back, you will notice that I am not a linguist. I don't speak any Spanish, and my Spanish accent is terrible, so I'll be taking that with me and butchering the language. That there is my Hilltop Packs food bag. Does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a bag to keep all my food in. Plunger for cleaning my Sawyer filter. They do get bunged up and clogged up after many uses. This, you attach the syringe, you fill the syringe full of water, attach it to the output of the filter, and you basically back flush water through it, and it pushes out the majority of the dirt from the bottom of the filter. Okay, toothbrush. I've not picked up my toothpaste yet, but I will be doing. That is some hand sanitizer, some wet wipes. That is a Tent Lab Deuce of Spades, obviously for digging cat holes when you've got to go number 2 in the woods. This that I'm hanging onto here is I've never used these before. I used them on a trip a couple of weeks back because a DCF tent is quite loud in the wind if it's windy outside, and I was finding it difficult to get to sleep. So earplugs, they'll be going with me, a pair of reusable earplugs. This here is a MSR canister stand. Obviously I've not got a gas canister with me at the moment because I'll be buying that in Spain when I'm there, but I have on more than one occasion nearly knocked over my stove and my cooking pot when it was on top with boiling water in. This helps because you clip your canister into it. Say that's the gas canister, it clips into it like that, and it just gives it a nice sturdy base so you don't have to worry about it falling over. And it folds down quite nice and small. I have got a Petzl spather lock knife. It'll either be that or a little Swiss Army knife that I've got that I'll be taking with me. I've not decided yet. Because I'm not flying, I should get away with that on the train. What else? I've got some sunscreen and lip balm. I tend to get very, very dry lips in hot conditions, so that'll be going with me there. I'll be buying some sunscreen when I'm there. I'm not sure what the bug situation is going to be like, so I'm taking a mosquito head net just on the off chance that there might be some nasty bugs. It doesn't weigh a great deal and it's tiny, so I don't mind taking that. That is a trash bag. I've used that on every trip since 2019. It's a Noaks bag, Noaks. It is just starting to split in a couple of places now where it's got one tiny hole in the corner, but it still works. Obviously, take all your trash with you when you're on the trail. Don't leave any anywhere. When you get to a town, just empty it out into a bin. So that's my trash bag. And then I've got some little self-seal clippy bags for various foods that I'll be using when I'm there. I've got a little thing of wilderness wash, which does for cleaning clothes, yourself, pots and pans, all that sort of stuff. And it's got citronella in it as well, so it helps to keep the bugs away, supposedly. That'll be going along. That is just a cleaning cloth for my pots and pans and whatnot, or pot. Also stops things rattling around inside my pot. So I've got this Turks titanium 750ml cooking pot with this little X-band, elastic X-band to keep it all together. Inside that I've got my MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe, which has got really good simmer control. It's a bit bigger than the Pocket Rocket 2 that I've used to use. That's a nice burner. It does have an igniter attached to it, built into it, but I still carry a little Bic mini lighter with me. Plenty of juice left in that. There's nothing worse than if that gets damp and it's not going to work, it's not going to fire, not being able to cook anything. So yeah, lighter. I've also got inside, that's my cooking pot basically, the 750ml one with the lid. This is my coffee mug. It's probably overkill, but I do like to have a nice cup of coffee on trail, and instant coffee just doesn't cut it for me. So for a while I was carrying one of the GSI Outdoors, is it the Lava Drip or something like that, and it was basically like a coffee filter that you stood on top of your mug, and it was a pour over, so you put your coffee grounds in there and you would pour your water over the top and then it would filter through. It was quite good, but it's kind of like just showing the water, the coffee, because it drips straight through. It hasn't got time to like get strong. So with this is a Primula Brew Buddy, I believe it's called. This, you put your coffee grounds in there and you actually sit it on top of your mug like that, so it can actually make strong coffee. You can leave it in there as long as you want, basically. So you just pour your water over the top and let it sit in there and brew. I've used it quite a lot now, and I do really like it. I mean, it is heavier than the GSI Outdoors thing, but to be honest with you, the GSI Outdoors one felt like it was going to break every time you used it. It's quite rickety, I would call it. This is sturdy, and it's a nice thing. And then what I do with this is I just have this plastic bag here, this self-seal plastic bag, and once I've used it, it just goes back in there, because it does get a bit messy, you know, wet coffee grounds everywhere and stuff like that. So that just helps to keep it separate, so nothing else gets covered in coffee grounds. So that's that. That was the coffee mug. It's nice to be able to have a cup of coffee separately from your cooking as well, so you can have a cup of coffee whilst you're cooking or whilst you're waiting for something to cook. That is a bit of a bonus. So yeah, everything, normally I would get a gas canister in here as well. That wouldn't be in here, the gas canister would fit in there, but I believe that the ones I'll be finding in Spain are actually quite large, and I don't think they're going to fit inside there, so the cook kit's going to stay in there. That's my first aid kit. It's not a very comprehensive one, to be honest with you. I've got some ibuprofen in there, a bit of cord, tick removal tool, some afterbite, and basically a ton of elastoplasts, a couple of safety pins, some KT tape, and there'll be a large self-adhesive patch going in there as well. So that covers most of the stuff I need. That's my fanny pack, my Light AF fanny pack. I use that for my camera gear, my Pocket 2 that I'm using, and the microphone and whatnot. That goes in there, and that attaches to the front of my backpack belt there. I've been using it like this for quite a bit now, and I actually prefer it to the side hip belt pockets. And like I say, it does just clip in with these buckles. So yeah, it's a real nice thing. I like that. That's my Toaks titanium long-handled spork. Had that forever and probably last forever. Got a small, tiny little towel there, and a large towel. That's another Sea to Summit Airlight. That'll be for obviously bodily drying needs. This, you're probably wondering why I've got this. It's the mesh bag that this pouch is made in China. Brilliant. This is the mesh bag when you buy your soya squeeze brand new. This is the mesh bag that everything kind of comes in inside. And it's funny because I was going to buy something like this, and then I was like, oh, fantastic, I've got this. It's going to be perfect for a drying bag. So you wash your underwear, your socks, your shirt, and normally you strap it to the outside of your pack. And the amount of times that I've stopped and like, where's my sock? Has my sock flown off? You know, have I dropped a sock? You can just put your clothes that you've dried, that you've washed in here, pull it tight, and just attach that onto a carabiner on the back of your bag, and it's a perfect drying bag. You don't have to worry about anything getting lost out of there or it coming off your pack. So yeah, brilliant little thing. So don't throw it out, keep it, you'll probably use it. That is the water bottle pouch that's going to get put on my backpack. This is an SWD one, it's a large one as well. You can see there it's quite a decent size. That's going to get swapped out for the small one that I've got, so I can basically carry more water on my front. I'm a little bit worried about water on the trail this year because of the heat we've been having. Well, sorry, not we. UK has been rubbish, but Spain has been going through some really nasty drought and some real hot weather. So I think I'm going to be having to be very careful and manage my water situation. So that's going to allow me to carry probably a good litre on the front of me. Whereas normally I'd carry like 500 ml or something like that. And I think that is pretty much everything. as I said before, there's a couple of little bits that haven't made it in because they've not been bought yet, or they're getting washed or something like that. And then there's a couple of bits that might get taken out, might decide against them. So, as I said at the start of the video, if you want to follow me along on Instagram and see how I'm going when I'm actually on the trail, I leave on the 26th of August. I'll be travelling over there, and Monday the 28th of August I'll actually be starting to walk. Fingers crossed, all being well. And then if you want to subscribe to this channel as well to see the videos that I do when I come back, I'll be putting them up. I've not decided whether I'll be doing a day-by-day diary or just kind of like a part 1, part 2 thing. But yeah, hopefully there should be some nice footage to watch. It's a beautiful part of the world, and I'm really looking forward to getting out on a long trail again. I'm hoping it should be a fantastic experience. So there you go, that's everything that's coming with me. Hope some of it's helped you in some way. If you've been looking for a certain piece of gear, maybe you've seen it here and thought that's exactly what I've been looking for. Alright, I'm going to go and get some food because I am starving hungry, and pack stuff up before the rain comes on. Take care guys, and happy trails.